Taking advantage of my drunken state, the neighbor rushed in and tore things apart. The next day, when I woke up, I was filled with extreme anxiety when I saw this on the bed. My husband and I got married after 3 years of getting to know each other and dating. On our wedding day, everyone praised us as a well-matched couple. Therefore, I was very happy and confident that we would live together as a happy family for the rest of our lives. After getting married, my husband and I moved to the city for the convenience of my job. We rented an apartment because we didn't have the means to buy a house yet. The new life was quite comfortable because the neighbors here were very good, especially the kind-hearted neighbor. He is currently living with his son, but his son often goes on business trips, so most of the time, he stays home alone. Therefore, he treats my husband and me very well. He treats us like his own children, so he often comes to my house to visit. Sometimes when there's good food, he also brings it over, so my husband and I both appreciate him very much. After being married for a month, my husband had to go to supervise a project in the south. So, I was quite sad because we had just gotten married and couldn't enjoy the scene of a loving couple like many other couples, but instead had to be alone. Seeing me feeling down, the kind neighbor also kindly talked to me. His openness and sincerity gradually made me see him as a relative. Moreover, I am up here with just my husband and me, and now that my husband is working far away, it's better to sell far away and buy something closer, right? Because I consider him as a relative, I often ask him for help with this and that, sometimes fixing the electricity, other times fixing the water pipes, or troubleshooting the clock. I also confide in him more. Somehow, I can't explain why, but I have a certain feeling towards him that is difficult to express. And the neighbor is becoming more and more attentive and doting towards me. Then, it happened. On that day, the neighbor went out to a feast, so he was a bit tipsy. Seeing him staggering and not stable, I helped him into the house, but suddenly he held on to me tightly, touched and said all kinds of things. He said he was very miserable, he loved me, who has a husband, but it's as if he doesn't exist. And since I also have feelings for him, I couldn't control myself, and I had a relationship with him. I thought that after the one-time mistake with him, he and I would have to avoid each other. But it didn't seem so because there was some kind of attraction that made me and him get closer. We often had intimate relationships during the time my husband was away. Sometimes I worried that if, unfortunately, I had a child with the neighbor, what would happen? Because there were many times when he and I had relations without using any precautions. But then, I didn't care anymore because I, like a crazy person, indulged in the intoxicating desires with the neighbor. One day, I noticed some changes in my body, so I decided to take a pregnancy test. The test showed 2 lines, indicating a positive result. Unable to believe my eyes, I rushed to the doctor for confirmation, and it was revealed that I was 4 weeks pregnant. However, it had been 3 months since my husband had been away on a work assignment and hadn't come home. Does this mean that I am carrying the neighbor's child? The uncertainty I felt had become a harsh reality. Back home, I was filled with anxiety, worry, and lived in a constant state of unease and fear. Should I consider abandoning the baby? Or should I confess the truth to my husband and the neighbor? What should I do? Is there any way out of this situation where a wife has an affair with the neighbor while her husband is away?